I'm Macy Eglin. Developing now, chaos in a Nassau neighborhood. Police are on the scene of a reported shooting right now. Now, police aren't confirming many details just yet, but we do know Nassau detectives and NYPD officers are on the scene on Ocean Avenue in Valley Stream. They were called in around 8:30 last night. Several roads in that area have been closed. Cold Spring Harbor School District will pay $14 million to settle federal lawsuits by two former students. Those students say they were sexually abused by their now deceased teachers more than 40 years ago, and that school officials ignored and covered up the allegations. Only in Newsday, migrants fleeing persecution are finding help at Hofstra. The Hofstra Law School Asylum Clinic in Hempstead is helping asylum seekers navigate the process. The migrants typically have trauma and little money for housing, necessities, and legal counsel. Students represent clients under the supervision of the attorney in charge at the clinic. The Biden administration has given the state approval to house 2,000 migrants at federally owned Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn. Governor Kathy Hochul calls the move, quote, a significant development by the administration. A former President Trump is set to surrender in the Georgia election case. Trump said on Truth Social that he plans to turn himself in on Thursday. He's agreed to $200,000 bond and other conditions. Trump is accused of being the head of a criminal enterprise and conspiracy to overturn his electoral defeat. Well, a wallaby is now being cared for at a Long Island animal rehab center. The NYPD confiscated the young marsupial from a man on the Coney Island boardwalk. The Star Foundation in Middle Island is now taking care of it.
Definitely doesn't belong here. It shouldn't be a pet. It's not a house pet. It's not an appropriate animal for people to have as a pet.
And now it seems to be getting good care, and the nonprofit says if there is an opportunity to keep the animal, they will raise funds to build an enclosure for it. As COVID numbers climb on the island, a new look at the virus's true toll. A new study on long COVID was just published in the journal Nature Medicine. It found people who had even mild COVID are at risk 2 years later for lung problems, fatigue, diabetes, and other health issues. The FDA just approved an RSV vaccine for pregnant women. The single-dose shot from Pfizer spurs the production of antibodies that transfer from mother to infant. The shot is already available for older adults. Expect company if you're traveling this Labor Day weekend. AAA says booking data for flights, hotels, rental cars, and cruises shows travel is up compared to last year. Domestic bookings are up 4% and international bookings are up 44%. Now, New York is among the top travel destinations. Most people will drive, though, and gas prices are similar to last year. Right now, the national average is $3.87 a gallon. Here on the island, we're paying an average of $3.85. A 10-year-old dancer from Glen Head is returning to America's Got Talent.
My name is Lambros Garcia, and I am a dancer.
That is Lambros Garcia. He will perform tonight on the first live shows of season 18. We'll find out tomorrow whether he'll advance. Garcia had the judges and the audience on their feet in a pre-recorded episode in June, so good luck to him. Let's take a look at your hyperlocal weather now. Here's a look at Gin Beach in Montauk. A beautiful shot there. Sun and clouds for your Tuesday. Cooler today, less humid and breezy. Highs in the mid to upper 70s. Should be a really nice Tuesday. For your Wednesday, even sunnier and in the mid 70s. We'll take a look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
Long Island weather is brought to you by King O'Rourke Automotive Group.
Sharks along our shores. This summer, there have been at least 6 reported shark bites. In part 1 of our special series, Ken Bufa shows us the tactics being used on the beach, in the ocean, and in the sky to keep those swimmers safe. It's a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Obviously, when those calls do come in for shark sightings, then we're called out.
State Park Police Officer Troy Copain lets us climb aboard a now routine marine shark patrol. Just one of many strategies to protect swimmers.
So I'm looking for just like basically signs on the surface.
Because the surface tells the story.
When I see those bigger schools, then I see them jumping out of the water erratically, then I know it's either striped bass, maybe bluefish, or now maybe sharks that's causing that frenzy.
And with the sea beneath them, officers are now taking to the sky. Governor Kathy Hochul announced the state is spending $1 million on 60 new drones for city and Long Island beaches. And now the drones are tearing through the Long Island sky.
Their drones are up in the air constantly, whether it's our drone or a lifeguard's drone. There's always patrols being done.
Now these are obviously not your average drones. They have an 8K camera, a 40-minute flight time, infrared sensors to see in the dark, and these can actually speak to you.
Is the New York State Park Police.
So State Park Police can warn you if they see something they don't like.
With new tech, new tactics, and a new approach, authorities believe they could protect swimmers while keeping predators in view.
There's always some degree of risk anytime you enter the water, but we're trying to show people that with all these assets that we have in place, marine, aviation, drone, lifeguards on the beachfront, that we're doing everything possible to keep Long Island swimmers safe as they enter the water.
Ken Bufa, Newsday TV.
Always keeping an eye out. You can read more about sharks along our shores on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And coming up tomorrow.
So much benefit to the ocean themselves, and they are extremely, extremely misunderstood.
Swimming with sharks. Ken goes underwater to help us understand the good sharks do out in the ocean. Back to school shopping is getting more expensive. So how are Long Island parents balancing necessities and trends? Sherry Einhorn has the story you'll see only in Newsday.
It's still summertime, but like it or not, school is around the corner.
Hi, how are you?
That means the shopping and spending are in full swing.
Well over $1,000 easily for back to school stuff.
Shopping smart is always great.
I don't even know what I've spent, to be honest.
According to the National Retail Federation, back to school spending is expected to hit an all-time high, $41.5 billion. I'm not sure this counting book goes that high. There are obviously things that kids need and other things they may want.
What was like you really wanted to have today?
A backpack and some new shirts.
So how do parents draw the line between the two?
New backpacks, and pretty much that's it, and just take it from there and see what they need as school progresses.
Sales draw customers in, but good prices keep them coming back.
We have from $10 all the way up to $100. Depends where you want to be. We could fit everyone's budget. We could clothe every kid.
Even the basics add up. According to this year's NRF survey, families with children in elementary through high school plan on spending an average of $890, 25 more than last year.
I actually tried to start as soon as possible so that I could sort of take my time and find really good deals and sales.
Binghamton University sophomore Seth Schlank is furnishing an off-campus apartment with help from his mom and grandmother.
They really need all this more expensive item if there's another less expensive version of it right next door.
And that depends on who's buying, or you do that no matter what?
Just no matter what.
Oh, okay, even if grandma's paying?
In Plainview, I'm Sherry Einhorn for Newsday TV.
Grandma would love to help just a little. You can read more about back to school on Long Island on Newsday.com. Again, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
I found my voice in broadcast television. I tell stories through my perspective and proud of who I am. I am thrilled to serve as your weekday morning anchor for Newsday TV.
Newsday, covering Long Island like no one else can.
I'm Macy Eglin. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. We'll leave you with a look at your hyperlocal 7-day forecast.